Hello Internet, I'm Hazel and today I'm going to be going over what we know about elemental shamans in Legion. We'll take a look at the original preview blog post, spell changes and removals, the new talent tree, and the artifact weapon traits. Keep in mind that it's still early in development, so things are by no means final yet. The full original blog post by Blizzard is linked in the description below this video. In the blog post, Blizzard talks about making improvements to the way totems function and overhauling our resource system. Totems will no longer be restricted by type, so you can drop whatever you want without worrying about despawning any. Their health will always equal a percentage of your maximum health, so no more 5 health totems. Any location-based totems such as Earth Grab will get a targeting reticle, and your Earth and Fire Ellie are no longer tied to totems. All of these changes sound great on paper, but it's a little less exciting when you see how many totems are actually left. Instead of lightning shield charges, Ele Shamans will build and spend a new resource called Maelstrom. Lightning Bolt, Lava Burst, and Chain Lightning will build up Maelstrom, which you can then spend on your shocks, Earthquake, and Healing Surge. Let's start by taking a look at the baseline spells that we're losing in Legion. Ancestral Spirit is resto only. All non-healing specs are losing their res, but mass res isn't going anywhere, so I wouldn't worry too much. Cleanse Spirit is gonzo, no more helping out with decurses. Earthbind Totem is gone, but Earth Grab is still available on the talent tree. Grounding Totem is now a PvP talent for resto shamans only. Healing Rain, Spirit Walker's Grace, and Healing Stream Totem are all also going to be a resto shaman only thing. Lightning Shield is a talent for enhancement shamans only. Shamanistic Rage is for enhancement and resto shamans only. Tremor Totem, Searing Totem, Totemic Recall, and Unleash Flame have all been removed. That's 5 totems that used to be baseline that won't be in your spellbook anymore. With Multi-Strike being cut completely in Legion, it's not surprising that our mastery is getting redone. Instead of Molten Earth, we're getting Elemental Overload back. Your Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, and Lava Burst have a chance to trigger a copy of themselves that hits for 75% damage and causes no threat. Ele Shamans that played in Cataclysm will remember this one. Earth Ele is no longer tied to a totem, has a 2-minute cooldown down from 5, and lasts 15 seconds down from 1 minute. He also reduces your damage taken by 30% for his duration and is castable while stunned. Fire Elemental is also no longer tied to a totem and now lasts until cancelled. He can be resummoned on a 5-minute cooldown, and for 15 seconds after you summon him, you'll gain 100% Maelstrom generation. With Lightning Shield gone, our Fulmination passive will generate Maelstrom instead. Unlike in Warlords, it won't affect Elemental Blast. Earth Shock, Flame Shock, and Frost Shock all consume variable amounts of Maelstrom and will be more effective when you spend more. Flame Shock will get increased dot duration, Frost Shock gets a longer snare, and Earth Shock does more damage. It doesn't look like the shocks have cooldowns at this time. This is going to be your main Maelstrom dump. Healing Surge also costs Maelstrom and heals more with more Maelstrom spent. Easy enough. Chain Lightning affects 3 total targets down from 5. You can improve that later with an artifact trait. The enhanced Chain Lightning perk is gone though, so no more effect on Earthquake. Earthquake is now Earthquake Totem, costs 80 Maelstrom, and can be put down at a target location within 35 yards. This does mean it's instant cast now. Purge is unchanged, but the old Glyph of Purge effect is no longer available. As a Resto Druid main, I can't say I'm too upset about that. To make you feel better, there's a couple of shiny new passives coming in Legion. Elemental Fury causes our damaging crits to deal 250% damage up from 200%. Elemental Focus is a new proc that buffs your next 2 shaman spells cast by 20% whenever you land a non-dot crit. This means that Lava Bursting with Flame Shock active will always proc this. Maximizing your Elemental Focus is going to be a big part of doing top damage. Ascendance and Capacitor Totem have both been moved onto the talent tree. And speaking of the talent tree, we're dropping quite a few spells off of it. Nature's Guardian, Stone Bulwark Totem, Astral Shift, Frozen Power, Call of the Elements, Totemic Persistence, Totemic Projection, Elemental Mastery, Conductivity, Rushing Streams, and Unleashed Fury are gone. Of the talents we're keeping, many of them have changed quite a bit. Let's take a look. At level 15, we choose between Path of Flame, Path of Elements, and Maelstrom Totem. Path of Flame buffs your Flame Shock and Lava Burst damage. Path of Elements reduces the cooldown of your summoned elemental spells by 60 seconds, which brings trusty old Earth Ele down to a 1-minute cooldown. Maelstrom Totem will auto-attack an enemy within 30 yards for nature damage and generate Maelstrom for you. It's on a 30-second cooldown and reminds me a lot of the Dire Beast mechanic. At level 30, you pick from Gust of Wind, Fleet of Foot, and Windrush Totem. Gust of Wind hurls you forward on a 15-second cooldown, like a sort of frontwards disengage. Fleet of Foot gives you a small 6-second sprint after leaving Ghost Wolf form. Windrush Totem acts just like that one dude in the middle of Shrine. Any ally who passes within 10 yards of it while it's active will get 60% movement speed for 5 seconds. Windrush Totem lasts for 15 seconds and has a 1-minute cooldown. Note that it replaces Windwalk Totem. At level 45, we choose from Lightning Surge Totem, Earth Grab Totem, and Voodoo Totem. Lightning Surge Totem is the new Capacitor Totem and works exactly the same but with a snazzy new name. Maybe Capacitor was just too hard to pronounce or sounded a bit too gnomish. Earth Grab Totem hasn't changed and even still says that it summons at the feet of the caster. Based on what they said in the blog and the 35 range though, this will probably get a targeting reticle at some point. Voodoo Totem is brand new, replaces Hex, and will cast an AoE Hex every 5 seconds for 10 seconds. So, twice. Enemies can only be hexed once, but imagine being in a battleground and getting like 6 people with it. Froggies! At level 60, we see Elemental Blast, Ancestral Swiftness, and Echo of the Elements. Elemental Blast hasn't changed. Ancestral Swiftness is no longer a cooldown and now just gives you a passive 10% haste and 10% attack speed at all times. Echo of the Elements gives your Lava Burst a base of 3 charges, up from the 2 it granted in Warlords. This seems like a strong choice because it gives you more on-demand procs of your elemental focus. At level 75, we choose from Elemental Fusion, Sons of Flame, and Magnitude. Elemental Fusion is completely different and now gives you an extra 10% chance to gain Lava Surge. Sons of Flame gives your Greater Fire Elemental 2 little buddies so he can feel more like Ragnaros. Keep in mind that Greater Fire Ellie is basically a permanent summon in Legion, so this means 3 guys following you around all day. Magnitude causes gouts of magma to erupt at the feet of any enemy standing in your earthquake with your Flame Shock active. Who doesn't like extra squirty earthquakes? Your talent choice on this tier will change based on how many targets you're fighting. At level 90, we pick between Lightning Rod, Storm Elemental, and Liquid Magma Totem. Lightning Rod debuffs a target so that your nature spells deal 20% more damage to them. They'll also cause a small amount of damage to enemies within 20 yards of your lightning rodded bad guy. It has a 1-minute cooldown but no duration, so presumably you can always keep it up. Storm Elemental hasn't changed aside from losing his totem. Liquid Magma Totem is now its own totem rather than piggybacking on another one, and has a 1-minute cooldown up from 45 seconds. At level 100, you choose from Ascendance, Primal Elementalist, and Totemic Fury. Ascendance is a 5-minute cooldown up from 2, and transforms you for 30 seconds up from 15. Primal Elementalist seems the same, but will be more effective with the changes to Greater Elementals. Totemic Fury summons 3 totems to your side for 30 seconds on a 3-minute cooldown. You'll get an Earth Totem to buff your Earth Shock damage, a Fire Totem to buff your Lava Burst damage, and a Lightning Totem to buff your Lightning Bolt damage. All 3 totems get summoned at once, and they'll all attack your target. If you felt lonely with less totems around, this one's for you. For an artifact weapon, Elemental Shamans will seek out the Fist of Ra-Den. I love the claw and shield look of this weapon, and it's got some neat abilities on it too. Stormkeeper lets you raise the Fist of Ra-Den to the sky, and buff your next 3 lightning bolts or chain lightnings to guaranteed crit and do 200% additional damage. It takes 1.5 seconds to raise your fist to the sky, and has a 1-minute cooldown. Shamanistic Healing automatically casts a healing surge on you when you fall below 35% health. Molten Blast increases the crit damage of your Lava Burst. Elementalist reduces the cooldown of your summoned fire elemental by 3 seconds whenever you Lava Burst, which will let you get his Maelstrom generation buff more often. Elemental Empowerment causes your nature spells to buff the damage of your fire spells for 4 seconds, and vice versa. Master of the Elements gives you 5% haste for 3 seconds whenever your Elemental Overload Mastery procs. Protection of the Elements reduces your damage taken. Call of the Thunder increases your lightning bolt damage. Earthen Attunement increases your earth shock damage. Lava Imbued buffs your lava surge damage. Volcanic Inferno gives your Lava Burst a chance to open a volcanic fissure that does AoE damage to enemies within 3 yards of the volcano for 6 seconds. Static Overload causes every 3rd chain lightning to guarantee an elemental overload. Searing Shocks buffs the duration of Flame Shock. Stormcaller replaces your fire elemental with a lightning elemental, which is presumably better. Electric Discharge causes Chain Lightning to bounce to additional targets. Finally, Fury of the Stormlord causes Rodin himself to come help you whenever you summon your Lightning Elemental, blasting lightning at all targets affected by Flame Shock. And that's what we know so far about Ele Shamans in Legion. It sucks that we're losing cool utility like Tremor and Grounding Totem, but there are some neat things to look forward to. Keep an eye on my channel for a separate video detailing the PvP talent tree that Eles will get in Legion. Let me know what you think of the Shaman changes, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!